Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. Prime proudly presents the 4th of 6 Women's Division qualifiers of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. And it's wonderful to be here at Woodland Bowl. Wonderful to be back in Indiana. Welcome to the action. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jay Randolph alongside Hall of Famer Virginia Norton. We had 40 teams competing here, the largest field ever in a women's division qualifier. And Virginia, we're down to 3.
We sure are. And our third place team is Contour Power Grips out of Lincoln, Nebraska. They've got 4 ladies on this team who have competed quite a while together at the University of Nebraska. In second position, Sherman Towing out of O'Fallon, Missouri. This team vaulted from 4th to 2nd on the position round game of 460. And our tournament leaders went wire to wire. This team is Brunswick Contour, and their captain, Marci Williams, has been in this position twice before with Lynn's team, but has never reached the winner's circle.
All right, all the exciting action of Baker System scoring and our action coming up from here in Indianapolis. Our first match right after this. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. And on the left there is Team Straub. Contour Power Grips 2. Paula Stinski will lead off for Sherman Towing. Paula, 28 years old, a pro bowler, lives in Appleton, Wisconsin.
And she looks like she's playing maybe a little deeper than she was earlier.
But she got a nice break, got them all.
She sure did. And I'll tell you what, this team really came on in the late stages of the match play finals.
Kim Straub, 26-year-old pro bowler, lives in Lincoln, Nebraska. Her husband, Bill, does an outstanding job as the coach of the University of Nebraska team, former pro bowler.
And she thought she would try the same thing, a little bit of light hits. But, you know, in watching the ladies earlier, they were carrying a lot of light hits. You hit the pocket a lot of times, you left a 7 or a 10 pin.
A full field of 40, the largest ever for the women's qualifier here. Picks it up. And Contour Power Grips to the starting lineup. Contour, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too.
Up on the approach, Angie Gettle, who has never been on television before, so a little bit of nerves.
The left-hander got them all.
Well, so far,
quite a job there. She's from St. Peters, Missouri, outside of St. Louis.
And things are going very, very well for Sherman Towing so far.
This is Carrie Shady.
Her husband, Mike Shady, is out on the men's tour. Nice shot.
And Contour Power Grips, pioneers of the finger grip industry, present their starting lineup. Straub, Shady, along with Machuca, Kelly, and Lucino. Identical twins there with Shelley Machuca and Carrie Shady. We'll see Shelley in just a moment. And there's a nice strike for Kim Kramer. Kim out of St. Louis, Missouri. Chemical engineering is her business in the St. Louis area. Now here is the twin sister, Carrie Shady. Shelley Machuca, first grade teacher in Lincoln, Nebraska. Featured All-American. Gotta hurry. She leaves the center.
And again, they're going for the light hits that have been working, that they aren't working quite yet. You can see a little bit of nerves, maybe.
Reminder, we have that $25,000 perfect game bonus brought to you by the sponsors of the World Team Challenge. For our grand championship in Louisiana, that will be pumped up to $100,000.
Cross lane spare, no problem on the 7. And the big smile.
In the Baker system, of course, fill those frames. Here is Reggie Jonak, Reggie Mutual Funds Manager, St. Peters, Missouri. That's McCann. That goes out of bounds and just stayed out there.
She got a little bit quick with her feet that time, and she knew it. That's why she kind of came around smiling. Shouldn't be any problem making this spare. Reggie, an extremely good spare shooter. She's been on Team USA. She's won medals at the FIQ, the international level of amateur bowling. So she's well versed.
Puts it right up. Now we get a look at Linda Kelly. Linda now in the computer business as an analyst for Mattel in Dayton, Ohio. Former pro bowler. Has an LPBA title to her credit. 5 regional titles.
And that one hung up on her hand. She almost got a great break. Hung up on her hand and went left immediately. I don't know if in the few minutes that she had to sit just prior to going on, maybe her hand swelled a little.
She was a member of the '88 Team USA and qualified in '90, but then resigned to join the LPBT Tour.
Nice easy spare at the 6 pin.
Going up by 19 here in the early going. A 2-game match. The winner of this match, of course, going against Brunswick Contour of Wichita, Kansas for the title. Tracy Sherman. Tracy gets Tracy's from the St. Louis area.
I'll tell you, you can't say enough about coming off of match play with the high that they did, because they're letting it carry right on over into this television show.
Jennifer Messino, the anchor for Contour Power Grips 2, and a strike for her. And we'll return with more of the Brunswick World Team Challenge right after these messages. Stinski. Boy.
She got a great break the first time. I think she settled down that time, made a terrific shot, leaves the 10 pin.
Could have put her team up by 29 with a strike.
Well, I think they're feeling pretty comfortable now, and as we all know, the key to this format is to fill frames, to make those spares.
Picked it up nicely. Sherman towing team was 5th last year here in Indianapolis. Kim Straub, member of the '91 Collegiate National Championship team for the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. That hasn't hurried.
That looked like she didn't get it off her hand real well. Looked
1-2-4-10.
In this, not an easy spare at all. But as she got through the ball, she really didn't hit the ball with her fingers. She just got it out there, and that's not normal for her. Kim usually hits the ball real well. You saw the ball hook and then kind of stop. This not an easy spare at all. So they're going to fall behind by even more at this point.
31 pins the lead right now. Here is Angie Gettle, 5-time Missouri team champion. Left-hander.
Well, she's 2 for 2, and this is her first time on television, so she's got to be pretty happy so far.
She really scrambled these, didn't she?
Well, she goes around the ball, gets the ball to hook into the pocket perfectly.
That shot just a little bit high. Carrie Shady.
And it looked like Carrie got a little bit soft with her speed. The ball hooked a little earlier than she wanted it to. She's got the 610. Much easier than what was up there to begin with.
These twins, Carrie Shady and her sister Shelley Machuca, from Erie, Pennsylvania, bowled there. Coach Evelyn Helmer has been credited with doing a tremendous job with these two over the years. Right now, the lead is 31 for Sherman Towing.
Kim Kramer getting her second shot on television as well. This team has a couple of people that have had some television experience, but for the most part, they don't. And Kim,
the ball that was really way out there and just never had a chance.
well, I think she had a little bit of the same problem that Reggie had the first shot. She got a little quick with her feet. The ball got way out of time. She's got an easy spare. That makes it a lot safer. No problem.
It's the fourth of 6 women's qualifiers for the Brunswick World Team Challenge here at the Woodland Bowl. Always nice to be back at this tremendous 80-lane facility. Ray Muir and his staff have done a wonderful job as always.
You know, it could be that this pair is going to be tough on one lane and not on the other. You know, even though Sherman Towing is up by quite a bit, as you get a chance to watch Shelley's shot go wide, similar to Kim's last shot, she's got the washout. It may be just this right-hand lane, and it may end up making a major difference as soon as they switch after the first stage.
Picked up the 1-2-4-10. Nice job.
Beautiful shot. The ball has to go left to the head pin. Head pin takes the 10 perfectly.
Sherman Towing up by 35.
Reggie Jonak's second shot. Well, she went wide the first time. This time she pulled the ball. I think Reggie's, even though she has been on television before, in talking to her earlier, she was probably one of the most nervous.
She was the 87 WIBC singles champion. She's a member of the Missouri and St. Louis Bowling Halls of Fame.
What a fun person to know. There you go, killing friends. Making a huge difference. Their team up by 35 at this point.
Linda Kelly. Brooklyn hit left to 9.
Well, that's twice in a row she's gone Brooklyn, and that's not typical for Linda. Linda usually lives in the pocket. So my guess is either the lanes have changed since they practiced, or she didn't read them right in the first place, or at least this lane.
35-pin lead for Sherman Towing. 13,000 in the prize fund, and then with the sweepers and all the other activity, nearly $40,000 in prize money for this women's qualifier here in Indianapolis.
Tracy Sherman.
Oh, she got them all.
Got a great break. She had a little problem with footing at the foul line and ended up making her pull the ball. And this is a 6-step approach that Tracy takes. A little bit of problem with footing, but you see her pull the ball goes high, and it nudges out the 4-pin. Now she needs to make use of that break.
Right back in the same spot. Why not? Look at her.
Actually, she pulled that one a little bit further.
Maybe even a little more. That's right.
You know, it's kind of interesting because a lot of times when you're on television, breaks really can mean a great deal. And so far, the Sherman Towing team has gotten all the breaks.
It looks like the left lane might be a little easier. They had, of course, the chance to select to start it off.
I think that's exactly right.
This one looks good. Oh, yes, a fine finish. 227 for Sherman Towing.
And that's a big game in this type of format.
Now, here's Jennifer Messino. Jennifer, I mentioned, on the University of Nebraska team. Nebraska right now leading both the men's and women's collegiate polls. Great job there.
And Jennifer, I think this entire team has had a problem on this lane because I think lane 76 has tightened up since they practiced. All of a sudden, the second shot by everyone except Linda Kelly went wide.
The lead is going to be at least 48.
Good start. So they're going to shoot somewhere in the high 180s, which is respectable, but they're going to find themselves in, I'm sorry, in the high 170s.
170s, yeah, right.
And they're going to find themselves in arrears by quite a bit. But like I said before, when you change lanes, if the one lane is very conducive to scoring and the other isn't, it can make a major difference in the match.
All right. 175 for Contour Power Grips, 222 for Sherman Towing. Here are the other finishers in the women's division here. Team from Toronto, Ontario, finishing 5th.
Team from right here in Indianapolis, as was the Royal Penn Leisure Center's team.
Stan Fox, the auto racer. Team from Missouri was here.
B&B's Pro Shop out of Springfield, Ohio, finishing 10th.
So the second game will be coming up. A 52-pin advantage for Sherman Towing. We'll be back right after 2, and it'll be Kim Straub to lead it off.
See, what a difference in lanes.
Yep.
She got through the ball better than she did when she left the washout on the right-hand lane, but I really think this is going to be interesting in the first few frames to see how much of a difference there is.
That's Paula Stinski.
Now that ball hooked earlier than it did on the left hand.
A little high, right.
So I just think maybe lane 76 has gotten a little bit touchy. And here again, you want to stay out of trouble. You want to make your spares, especially when you're in the lead by 52 pins.
No question. Lane 75, there's been a better ball reaction
and better brakes.
Yeah.
Carrie Shady.
This is one of the aspects of team bowling, the opportunity to visit, talk things over, see what new chemistry can be created as you go along. 7-pin standing.
And they needed that one desperately to try and make Sherman Towing start to feel a little pressure and start to think again.
Well, a strike there would have cut the lead to 42. And of course, these big leads in the Baker system can diminish very quickly.
Oh yeah, open frames make a lot of difference, and then if the other team gets hot, 50 pins could be nothing. We're giving
Shady with the spare.
And we get a chance to see Angie Gettle, who is 2 for 2, her first time on television in the strike category. She pulled that one. Got a pretty good break, but that's no easy spare, the 2-8.
Makes up her mind to go at it. She really does go at it. That's a very quick approach, isn't it?
It's quick, but that's the way she bowls. I've seen her bowl a couple of tour stops, and that's the way she bowls, and she's been very, very successful with it.
She makes up her mind, she goes.
And she spots, it looks like, at the foul line. Her eyes look like they're down, and there's a little chink in the armor early.
Down to 39 pins the lead now, and here is Shelly Machuga.
You know, it's interesting. I spoke with Linda Kelly, who is the only person on this team that didn't go to the University of Nebraska. Mildred Light was able to shake out the 5-pin. And she said the biggest thing that helped them this week was Kim is used to coaching the other 3 girls and being coached by her husband as well.
and they all were able to talk and to help one another get lined up. And that's a real bonus in a situation like this. Nice shot on the 7th ball. Looking for her 2nd strike. She struck the first time she was up in the first game.
Looking good.
The ball didn't quite finish hard enough, but again, a fairly easy spare as you see her go to another ball that's going to go much, much straighter, so she doesn't have to worry about the ball hooking away from the 10 pin.
Of our first match to face Brunswick Contour out of Wichita, Kansas, who qualified first.
No problem.
We'll return with more of the Brunswick World Team Challenge right after this. Contour power grips, they were 6 and 4 in match play.
Linda's definitely having a problem with her arm swing going left of target.
You on some statistics. My game. Dayton, Ohio.
There is the first 300 game ever shot by a woman in the Brunswick World Team Challenge.
$1,000 bonus from Lynn Shoes for that, as Linda Kelly picked up the spare, wearing Lynn Shoes when she fired. Got them all. Here's Reggie Jonak.
Reggie had a little bit of problem on the other lane. I think just getting comfortable. That was a good shot. And I think the one thing that is in her favor on this right-hand lane is the fact that she throws the ball pretty hard and straight, and she's not going to have to worry about it getting a little bit squirrely.
These days, a mutual funds manager, and lives in the St. Peters, Missouri area. St. Peters, Fallon areas to the west of St. Louis. 40-pin lead right there. This point in the proceedings. The high series. Jensen, Wichita. We'll see her, of course, coming up in the championship match. Qualifying average to 30.2 for Jody.
Well, and there were a couple of 224 averages, and that's very, very respectable.
We're now, of course, here at the magnificent Woodland Bowl. The women were at the Expo Bowl here to do their qualifying, then moved over here to get into action in the Baker. And, of course, for these TV finals.
Jennifer on her shot went a little bit wide.
Oh boy.
She went Brooklyn on her first shot, made the adjustment off of that to try and convert the 5-9, and went past it on the right.
Here's Tracy Sherman. 3-time national Broadman champion. Just didn't come in.
Well,
stayed out there.
That kind of surprised me, even though we saw that happen to a couple of the ladies on the Contour Power Grips team. She goes a little more down the boards, as does Reggie Jonak, and I thought they would have a little better shot than those who want to swing the ball on this right-hand lane.
She had been 4 for 4.
As you see her take her 6-step approach, a little stiff with the legs, but she gets it done.
Picked up the 1-2-8 nicely.
And they're now back up to a 50-pin bonus. Here's her 6 steps. Takes almost 3.5 steps before the ball moves, and then she's there way ahead of the ball, but that's her timing, and that's what works for her.
And there's a strike. Coming from
they needed that really
Straub.
bad. Kim knows what the situation is, and they've got to start striking. Filling frames isn't going to do it at this point.
Straub with the 2 strikes. This one just stays way out there.
Well, Paula looked like she kind of lost the ball a little bit.
After 1, 2, 4, Paula Stinski.
Watch the ball come off, and she knows immediately the ball is right. She's just hoping that it hooks and gets a decent pin count.
She shares the WIBC records for doubles, 3-game series, 1534, 4-game series, 1965 with Patty Ann. That the 91 season.
Oh boy, that could be a costly mistake.
We'll return with more of the Brunswick World Team Challenge from Indianapolis, Indiana. Carrie Shady with a strike, got the lead to 26, and then Angie Gettle. She left the 4-6-10, ended up being open. The lead is 15.
So what a turnaround in this match. And we mentioned it earlier. The difference in the right and left-hand lane.
A strike there would have cut the lead down to 5.
And she looked like she got careful with it. The ball came off her thumb a little bit late and went left.
Shelly Machuca.
She knows what she has to do here. At this point, she needs this spare. You've got to think that Kim Kramer, getting up in the 8th frame, is feeling a little more pressure than they have felt at any point in this match.
Sherman Towing has not had a strike in this game.
And that's pretty amazing, even though in the first game, Shady and Messina were the only ones to strike for Contour Power Grips, too.
7 strikes in the first game for Sherman Towing. They are still without.
Well, that was a pretty good shot. She came in light, shook around a lot of pins, left the 7 pin. She wants to make this spare and just keep everything in perspective.
You were about to say it's got to hurt, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I think she was feeling a little bit of the same thing.
Well, we're going to the wire here.
Well, and the interesting thing here is you've got the big guns for both teams up in the 9th and 10th frame. They're the people that have been there before, and they've got the experience.
The Kelly.
And that's what experience does for you right there. What a great shot. Rips the rack 5 into the 7. And couldn't have set her team up any better for the 10th frame. Here you go. She got through the ball great. Comes in a little light, rips the rack, striking the 9th.
And now the veteran Reggie Jonak for Sherman Towing. All right.
Well, she says maybe it wasn't perfect, but you know what? They all count.
Look at the reaction here.
Well, she says, not too good. Go ahead and cross. Yeah, she liked that. And Messina right here didn't make a bad shot, but that was very, very costly. They're down by 17. She has to make this spare. A little bit high in the pocket, not a really bad shot. Trips the 4 out, but can't get it to carry the 9. And that's where missing spares, especially 1-pin spares, is awfully costly.
That's what makes this so tough in team play. Wow.
So this game is virtually over. Tracy needs 1 pin on 2 balls.
2 balls.
And you just saw a shot of Jennifer. Doesn't matter. She made a really good shot. And the good thing about this is now that they're going on to the championship match, they've got a feel for the right and the left-hand lane. And since they're so different, it's going to give them a major advantage in this championship match.
They got that big lead. Lost it as Contour Power Grips 2 made the big charge. So they didn't feel very good about their chances.
Well, they've got a clue on what's happening on these two lanes.
Yes, indeed. The victory for Sherman Towing. They'll go against Brunswick Contour in our championship match.
Tracy Gettle just kind of keeping herself calmed down, wants to make a good shot. It'll be interesting to see what happens as far as the Brunswick Contour team comes on and which lane they decide to finish the match on. Both teams have struggled on this right-hand lane.
Well, it's a happy bunch. 383 to 356, the victory for Sherman Towing. And you know, earlier we were talking about the team representing Stan Fox, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Stan, who of course was so active in the bowling pin car that made the rounds all over the country, and he really appreciated too all of the wonderful mail he got during his rehab after the crash last May from bowling fans all over the country. And a wonderful job. Stan Fox, incidentally, if you look closely there, you'll see Executive Director of the ABC's daughter, Danielle Dobbs, was on that team. All right, the winners, Sherman Towing. We'll go around the bowling world, bring you up to date on all the news when we come back.
Now it's time to go around the bowling world. Brought to you by the High Roller Tournaments at the Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas. The finest in women's bowling were honored as the Women's International Bowling Congress recently named its 21st annual WIBC All-America team. In a rare tie, Anne-Marie Dugan and Tish Johnson were named co-captains of the elite squad. Dugan logged her 5th straight appearance on the top team. Last season, Anne-Marie topped the LPBT average list and took home a pair of titles. Johnson made the prime squad for the 6th straight time, winning twice last season on the LPBT circuit. Detroit's Cheryl Daniels joins the co-captains, making her 2nd appearance on the first team. Daniels picked up 2 titles, including the U.S. Open, and was a member of the record-breaking Contour Power Grips team that captured the WIBC Team Championship. Alita Sill was also a member of that team and notches her 7th career All-America honor. Robin Romeo rounds out the first team for the 6th time in her career. Romeo cashed in all 18 LPBT events that she entered last season. The second team All-Americans include Carol Norman, Carolyn Doran, Kim Adler, Sandra Jo Shirey, and Kim Kennedy. Elaine Hagan of Castro Valley, California has been named president of the USA Bowling Board of Trustees. The board is responsible for the administration of USA Bowling, the organization that represents the U.S. in 10-pin bowling internationally. Hagan was instrumental in adding women's division competition to the Brunswick World Team Challenge Series and is also known for her extensive work with the BVL Fund. One of the many highlights of the WIBC annual meeting held in Buffalo this April will be the presentation of the 2nd annual Agnes Duffy Membership Development Award. The award recognizes outstanding achievement in recruiting WIBC members and is named for Duffy of Richmond, California, the first recipient and former WIBC Vice President. Around the Bowling World has been brought to you by the High Roller Tournaments. Call 800-257-6179 for information on how to enter.
Sherman Towing, who qualified 2nd. They have defeated Contour Power Grips 2, 383 to 356. They'll face the Brunswick Contour team, who qualified 1st. Our championship match is coming up in just a few moments. Well, there's Pearl Keller, WIBC director, great worker and a real pillar of this program. And with her, joining her today, some of the folks from the Indianapolis Women's Bowling Association and also the State Association. Everybody's been so much help here this weekend.
I'll tell you, without their help and support, it would not run as smoothly as it does.
Well, we got to look now at Marci Williams, who will lead it off for the Brunswick Contour team from Wichita, Kansas. Marci lives in Wichita, is a corporate tax accountant.
And this team has had so much fun during this competition, I can't tell you. See,
She seemed very loose. She was yelling out at the ball.
Well, Marci's kind of like that. You know, we've seen her before when she bowled on the Lynn's team, and a lot of people said, well, kind of, why was she on the team? I think she's a spark, and I think this performance is showing you that.
Contour power grips with the Brunswick Contour lineup there.
Holds the ball very, very high, but that gives her a little bit more speed. She doesn't have a lot of speed, but if she held it lower, she'd probably have even less.
And you can see this is a very loose group. Just having fun. Now here is Paula Stinski leading it off for Sherman Towing.
Well, and it's kind of interesting to me that the Brunswick Contour team is going to end up on this right-hand lane that everybody struggled on. And you kind of still see from Paula's first shot that they're struggling there. She goes a little wide. She leaves the 2-4-8, and that's not an easy spare by any means. Nice shot. Very nice. We get our first look at Janet Vincent.
Janet lives now in Stonington, Illinois. Housewife, mom. Problem there.
Well, I think maybe a little bit tight. She hasn't got any television experience either. And that's the one thing that they're going to have to overcome. Marci's had a little bit of television experience, and other than that, most of the rest of the team has had none.
Looking down there at the 3-6-10.
Not an easy spare, but she covered it. And they're excited. This is the way they've bowled all week.
Here's Angie Gettle.
And
Sherman Towing winning 383, 356. Tour power grips 2 in our first match. Remember, this is 2 games. All right.
And she's still striking. She's having a good time. We see her pull the ball a little bit inside target again. That's kind of the left-handed Jersey squasher. Works for her.
This is Tammy Polly, hander. She leaves the 3-7.
And she bowled extremely well during the Baker system match play. Matter of fact, she bowled well during qualifying. She averaged 218 for the 6 games of qualifying.
Tammy's from one of my favorite towns, Decatur, Illinois. She's a McDonald's manager there, won the 94 Illinois WBA doubles title.
Left the 3-7 maybe.
Oh, yes! Get back off the board.
What a great shot. And these are the kind of things that just keep people pumped up. Beautiful shot. Had to go to the right-hand side of the 3-pin. Off the wall. Takes the 7.
Yeah, a shot like that pumps everybody on the team up.
You bet.
It really does get the adrenaline flowing.
And there's a good shot. Very nice. Skinny corner.
With that strike, the lead is 18. Or 15, excuse me. We'll return right after this.
Jody Jensen, and she was high average for everybody in the tournament. She averaged 230 during qualifying.
She's an assistant manager of a bowling center in Wichita, Kansas. She was voted the 94 Wichita Bowler of the Year. She's won several Great Plains Bowling Association titles over the years.
Makes the 1-2. Right now, they're doing what we keep telling you have to do.
Fill them up.
Fill them up. And what's interesting also is they're struggling a little as far as getting strikes on that left-hand lane that everybody's had good luck with. The Sherman Towing team is now starting to strike on lane 76.
Reggie can put her team up by 27 with the strike.
A little bit light, leaves the 2-pin. She's saying, okay, easy spare. No problem. And you'll see that Reggie also doesn't take a long time. She knows what she wants to do. She gets up there and gets the job done. Uh-oh is right.
Oh, she knew it
Well,
right off the bat.
You heard her. She said, uh-oh. That's a costly spare. It looked like she opened up a little bit at the line and never got the ball through her target. Went right at target all the way.
And now Sherman towing. The lead is 4.
That's what they needed.
Indeed it was. Debbie Walker. Right.
And Debbie is Jody Jensen's sister. Both of them have a little bit of tour experience. Tracy Gettle now trying to get her team back on track after the open in the 4th frame.
Tracy Sherman with the shot.
Nice shot. Marci Williams a chance to give her team a double and take the lead in this match. Marci is just a regular league bowler, but I'll tell you what, she wants, she has all that wish to bowl well for the team.
Yeah, and you know, here, look at 3 appearances. 95, 2nd in Indianapolis, 3rd in Las Vegas, 2nd in Orange County.
Well, and she was the leadoff bowler for all of those teams. However, she's got the 2-4-10, and that's not an easy spare.
Only person to have competed in all 7 Brunswick World Team Challenge Women's Division.
It's going to have to hook. So they're open in the 6th frame, and they'll fall further behind. Paula Stinski now with a chance to add to their lead on this, what we at least think is the more difficult of the 2 lanes.
Looking shot for the strike there.
Beautiful shot.
The strike puts the team up by 26, and we'll return to Indianapolis right after. Sherman towing, leading by 26. This is a 2-game match, of course. And Vincent.
A lot of concentration. Look at those eyes. A little bit wide.
2-4-7.
And it really looks like she's being a little careful. Her arm swing doesn't look as loose as it did earlier, so I think that has something to do with just trying to get comfortable on television. When they make the move onto lane 76, maybe she's going to relax a little bit.
Her husband Gene, a member of the Golden Harvest #1 team, set the all-time record for highest team game.
Nice shot on that spare.
14-10. And of course, Tammy Polly's husband also on that team. 14-10. That was in '93.
14-10 is an awesome score.
No, to tell you. Angie Gettle.
And Angie got the double in the 3rd frame for this team. Let's see if she can keep this double going. Brooklyn can't trip the 4th hit.
Qualifying averages for regular and then the Baker system.
And Sherman towing went quite a ways in just the last few games to get to this television show.
Match play records. Brunswick Contour 7-3. Got the spare. And here is the round-by-round action. Brunswick Contour, as you mentioned in our opening, Virginia, led all the way.
Well, they bowled extremely well. And here you can see Sherman towing stayed close and never got to the show until the very last position round.
Excuse me, this is Tammy Polly.
And Tammy was kind of talking to Marci, it looked like, about how the ball was coming off her hand. I don't think it's coming off as cleanly as it was during match play.
Tammy has 4 300 sanctions gained to her credit.
And that one looked good. That one looked a little bit more relaxed. It almost looks like these teams are kind of in their own little world. One team is trying to stay loose, and that's obviously Brunswick Contour. The other team is a little bit more intense, but that's just the way those teams work best.
Kramer leads the 7th.
A little bit light, and we have seen that shot about 4 times, maybe more than that, and that 7 pin hasn't fallen yet.
Great to be back here in Indianapolis. They love their basketball, their auto racing, and their bowling in this town. Great to be here at Woodland Bowl, too. Outstanding 80-lane facility, and the Expo Bowl, where qualified earlier, of course, and here. Tremendous turnout.
Well, and what's kind of interesting also is the fact that both the men's and women's tours are out right now, so they're competing, so you don't have a lot of the national touring players out here, yet you got full fields for both events.
Jody Jensen, no problem.
A little bit wide. She looked like she really let her elbow fly that time. The ball got wide and never came back. She's got the washout, and unless she converts this, they're going to dig themselves quite a hole to try and climb out of for the second game of this match.
1, 2, 4, 10. Lead now for Sherman Towing is up to 40.
Reggie looks a little bit more relaxed now. She got through that first match, made a couple of bad shots, got a little bit of a break. Now she looks more like Reggie. A great shot and a bad break.
Boy, oh boy, it looked like the 7 was going to get a chance to go down, but it didn't.
Oh, she ripped that rack, and that 7 pin on light hits, as we get a chance to just see her saw the 5 pin out, and it just won't come back and make the 7. But this should be a fairly routine spare. There it is.
Brunswick is 1 for 9 on what we considered the good lane regarding the strikes. Sherman Towing leads with 39.
Oh yeah, in the first match, that left-hand lane had 12 strikes between the two teams. Now they've got 1 out of 9. There's something strange. Oh, and that was a great shot. Left the 6 pin, but she made a very, very good shot, and she's the only one that has struck on this left-hand lane.
Debbie Walker, stockbroker, lives in Wichita. Mentioned we had the largest field ever for this women's qualifier here, 40 teams. Picked it up. Our next stop for the women qualifiers, Diablo Lanes, Concord, California. Here, I say that right, Concord?
That's it.
Peter Hagen, our statistics, brilliant job always. Peter's mom, Elaine Hagen, great ladies, world of bowling.
She's
her on the news segment today.
Yeah, Elaine's a tireless worker, as is Pearl Keller and a lot of the other ladies involved in this sport, not only on a national level, but at the local and state levels as well.
Score of 165 for Brunswick Contour here in game 1. Jennifer can strike out for 214.
Tracy a little bit light on that shot. Leaves the 2 pin.
Yeah, I say Jennifer. Tracy.
It's interesting. I wonder if Tracy is thinking about the 2 pin that Reggie just went past in the 4th frame this game. It should be a fairly routine spare, but if you think about what may be happening as far as the oil carrying down the lanes, it can get tricky once in a while. No problem. Tracy wants to get every pin she can. They can finish at 203 and take a 38-pin lead into the second game of this match.
got them all.
And they will.
So it is a 38-pin lead after the first game. We'll be back right after this.
Time is running out for these children.
Along with Virginia Norton, Jay Randolph here in Indianapolis, Woodland Bowl, Brunswick World Team Challenge, final game of this match. Sherman towing up by 38 pins. Paula Stinski leads it off.
And this is the lane they liked much, much better in the first match.
Paula's got to like it right now. Look at that.
Not only that, but we've seen that same hit on lane 76 not carry the 7 at any point. Now all of a sudden, everybody that goes over to 75, if they hit light like that, they carry the 7. So that's an important difference in these two lanes. And it's going to make it much, much more difficult for Brunswick Contour to come back from that 38-pin deficit.
The strike for Marci Williams.
Well,
Talking about lane 74, Virginia. Is the ball just hooking more on that? I mean, on 75, is it just hooking more over there?
No, actually what's happening, and I asked a couple of the girls coming off the lanes from the first match, it looked to me like if you got it left of target, the ball hooked early. It looked also like there was an out-of-bounds right where if you sent it a little too far right, the ball skidded. And they said that's exactly what happened.
Here's Angie Gettle. All right, remember, $25,000 perfect game bonus brought to you by the sponsors of the World Team Challenge. When we get to Louisiana in August, it'll be $100,000.
And what a shot Angie Gettle just made. That ball just ripped the rough.
Janet Vincent.
There again, look at the light hit and the 7-pin stance on this right-hand lane.
There's a lot of that.
And you've got to say, well, you know, what's happening there? I think it has to do with the angle of entry of the ball into the pocket. It's just a little bit different. It creates different pin action. Problem on the spare bone, but at this point they can't think about just spares. They've got 8 frames to try and make up 48 pins.
Yeah, the strike would make it 58, and got a look at Kramer.
A little wide. 1-2-4. She looks a little disappointed, but I wouldn't be. I mean, this is not a difficult spare. We make the spare, we fill the frame, and we go on, knowing that they don't feel comfortable on 76. They can't think that Brunswick Contour is going to feel any more comfortable, even though they chose to finish there.
Sherman towing, trying to knock off our #1 qualifier. Brunswick Contour, but all the way.
Beautiful spare. And now Tammy Polly trying to get up in the 3rd frame of this 2nd game of the championship match. Wants to get her team striking. Still having a bit of problem. And this not an easy spare, but not real difficult. The level of bowlers that we have out here, they'll make this way more than 50% of the time. A little too much hook right at the end. And you can almost look at Marci's face and see it's happening again.
Sherman towing, leading by 58.
Reggie Jeremiah up in the 4th frame. Uh-oh, she lost it.
Didn't turn out too bad, but again, as soon as that ball let go, she said, oh no.
And she knows.
Yeah, I'm sure she knows.
Fortunately, they're in a position where spares are going to mean a lot. So you don't have to tighten up and say, oh, what am I doing to my team? On the other side of the picture, Brunswick Contour has to start getting some strikes. Good shot.
Pointing at somebody in the audience.
I don't know who that was.
I don't know either, but she was pretty pleased with it. Now it's Jody Jensen.
Much deeper. Nice shot. Those shots were carrying yesterday. They had to be. She averaged 230. But this team is playing this right-hand lane much deeper than almost anybody on either team did the last match. So that may be why they're able to hit the pocket better. They just need to start carrying.
This lady owns Wichita WBA and Kansas WBA All Events titles. Brunswick Contour team has only 3 strikes in 14 frames.
And it's interesting because you see that the Sherman towing team move over to that lane and their arm swings all loosened up.
Debbie Walker looking up at the scoreboard.
She knows she has to start. Best way to do that is make a good shot. Got it wide. And this not a
1-3-10.
Not a real tough spare, but there are a lot of ways to miss it. A couple of ways to make it, a lot of ways to miss it. They need more than spares right now, unfortunately. Nice shot.
We'll return with more of the Brunswick World Team Challenge right after these messages.
In 1 year, over 200.
It was Paula Stinski with a strike to put her team up by 68, and then Marci Williams with a spare. The lead is 70 for Sherman Towing.
And Angie Gettle, who made such a good shot the last time she was up. A little bit high. There's a 610. Not a major problem. It was kind of interesting that after Paula Stinski struck in the 6th frame, Marci got up, got ready to bowl, and then turned around to her team and said, if we're going to do it, we've got to do it now. So they're all very aware of the situation. Good shot.
Sherman Towing in the driver's seat. Janet Vincent. She won the Springfield, Illinois round the town tournament 3 of the last 4 years.
Good shot.
Yes, got them all.
That's the first time we've seen a light hit carry the 7. That was a little bit different light hit, but none of them have carried prior to that one. 70-point deficit. Actually 68 at this point.
Sherman Towing was up by 38 after the first game. Kim Kramer.
Make it open.
Yes, indeed. Mark it down.
Well, and this is the way that team started. We got a couple of good breaks off of the first couple of frames in the first match, and it kind of loosened them up and got them going in the right direction. Tammy Pauley still struggling a little, leaving the 2-4. But this is a team effort. This Baker format is absolutely a team effort. You've all got to be a part of it.
This game really, look at the score, is officially over.
Absolutely.
Sherman Towing has done an excellent job of knocking off the Brunswick Contour team, who, as we showed you earlier, led all the way. Sherman Towing is going to win it, get the trip to Louisiana to the Grand Championships in August.
Well, on the Brunswick Nice shot? No. It really doesn't make that much difference.
It's still all over.
She made a good shot, went a little high, left the 4-9, but at this point in the match, they can afford it. The Contour Power Grips 2 team that finished third will take home $1,700. The Brunswick Contour team that is now going to finish second will take home $2,000.
Look at that. You're going to get
it. It all works.
Picked up the 4-9.
It all works. And this is a great shot. She has to go well left of the 4-pin. Perfect. 4 into the 9. And when it's going bad, this is the other side of what ends up happening.
Yeah.
Jody Jensen goes a little bit wide, leaves the 2-4-10. Needs to hook. And you can see the disappointment. But I'll tell you what, they bowled absolutely phenomenally as a team to get to this point.
They just didn't get the ball reaction here at the Woodland Bowl that they got over at Expo Bowl, I guess.
Well, they didn't bowl badly this morning.
No.
But Jody
held on to that number 1 spot.
Absolutely. And Jody was a dominator at Expo Bowl. She bowled well here, but she didn't have anywhere near the amount of carry here that she had at Expo Bowl, and that made a major difference.
Strike for Tracy Sherman. Sherman, 3 opens. Sherman towing on 3 opens.
In their 4 games.
Their 4 games.
And that's filling frames.
All down, and she just points down there. And this is a resounding victory for Sherman Towing.
It certainly is. And where you saw their game face on earlier, where a lot of them were just concentrating, and that's the way they bowl, you see relief on their face and a lot of smiles now. So they'll finish with a 221 score and a 424 two-game series to win this tournament.
Outstanding bowling. Sherman Towing out of O'Fallon, Missouri. They are the winners here at Woodland Bowl in the Brunswick World Team Challenge here in Indianapolis.
And now Debbie Walker says, of course, we're out of it. It's over. Now I can finally strike. Now they're going to go down. Just trying to finish out.
Some of you would like to get involved. Remember, the next stop for the women's qualifiers, Diablo Lanes, Contour, California.
Whoop.
Bring you up to date on May 18th to 19th, Concord, California, Diablo Lanes, and in Baltimore, Maryland, Perry Hall Lanes, June 22nd, 23. Upcoming women's qualifiers. Call 414-423-3387 for information on how you can get your team rolling in the Brunswick World Team Challenge. 424. 332, 92-pin victory for Sherman Towing. We'll be back with our champion. The Brunswick World Team Challenge is brought to you by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. By Lynn Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn Shoes, the choice of top professionals and amateurs alike. By DBA Products, the industry leader in lane maintenance equipment. And by the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. Here's our winning team, Sherman Towing. The O'Fallon, Missouri area, Greater St. Louis area. 21 strikes, 19 spares, and only 4 opens. And a tremendous victory. Paula Stinski, how about the way you blew away our #1 qualifier?
Well, I thought the whole field was really tough, and you have to have rhythm on your side and luck on your side, and we had both today, so we're very fortunate.
I'm looking here at something that was just handed me. 807 for the 4 games.
I don't think we shot that all qualifying. We had a tough round yesterday afternoon, and this is one way to pick yourself out of it, I guess. So.
Well, we're going to pass the goodies out, all right, right now. Here's Pearl Keller, of course, and Pearl, the WIBC National Director with the plaque.
My great pleasure as the winners of this tournament, the Brunswick World Team Challenge here in Indianapolis, to congratulate each and every one of you for a great team effort and stepping into the winner's circle for the first time.
Thank you.
In behalf of the Women's International Bowling Congress, congratulations to you, and here's your sponsors award. I'm sure they'll be very happy to get it the first time around, I believe.
Yeah, thank you, Pearl, very much. Ray Muir, the manager here at Woodland Bowl, great to be with you. You've got the ring.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Royal Penn Legion Center, we want to thank the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress for this great tournament. It's a fantastic tournament, and at this time I'd like to present this team who've done such a great job with these beautiful rings.
And thank you very much, Ray. And now here is Dallas Bowman, who is the Indianapolis, Indiana WIBC Secretary, and she has the jacket.
Okay, on behalf of the Indianapolis Women's Bowling Association and Lynn's Bowling Association, we present you with the jackets.
All right. Good luck to you, ladies, in Louisiana. There they are. The next World Team Challenge telecast is an open division event from right here at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis. Check your local listings for dates and times. For Virginia Norton, this is Jay Randolph saying so long from Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. This has been an ABC Eagle Productions telecast.